But I'm not giving up. Nope.
I don't know, guys. Like, cut. Cut. Hi, Sana. And I'm not giving up today. Today I'm shooting this video. Come rain, come sunshine, come the end of the world. Okay.
So yeah, I know it has been forever. Panspe Zulu in and no wonder there aren't any registrars on YouTube because wow, the trauma, they're having to study. Now I can't study as much as I could when I was in varsity because there's a lot. There's life, there's kids, there's wife, there's husbands. It's tricky. It's different. It's a different stage in my life that I'm having to navigate. So do bear with me whenever I do get a chance. Rest assured, I will drop the pearls. Yeah. So. Guys, like I'm even shocked. Come back to my channel, 6K per, like you on 6,000 subscribers. Like I never thought my channel would get to this level. Especially like it's like the first 1,000 was like the hardest. I feel it was the hardest 1,000 to reach, but then after that it's almost like it was a snowball effect. And then it sort of grew. But I just want to take this moment to say I appreciate everyone, and people will continue to subscribe even though I'm not like uploading religiously and I feel more often or in a structured manner. So today let's just keep it rolling even. So today I'll be discussing a topic that's also highly suggested and that's highly requested, and that is why the hell are these people calling me? I'm Dr. Anne and this is the Health Hub. So today we will be talking about a highly requested topic, and that topic is CPD. And what is CPD? Let's get right into it. So let's talk about CPD points. So basically CPD stands for Continued Professional Development. So basically what it is that it's a program that is aimed at developing like that continued learning, continued refreshing of your medical knowledge, especially in careers that are rapidly developing, rapidly changing, where there's new things every day. So it was basically implemented under the legislative authority of the Health Professions Act. It's basically like a legal requirement. I think it's important in that it assists healthcare professionals maintain their knowledge and also keep it up to date, especially knowing that healthcare, and medicine is an evolving field. Basically in South Africa, our main governing body, among other things, especially when it comes to doctors, I feel like there's other ones like for nurses, Osanka and all of that, but with doctors more specifically, and physios and OTs and dentists, etc. What does HPCSA require when it comes to these CPD points? Because they are the ones that govern whether or not we are keeping up with these points and are doing what is necessary. So according to HPCSA, the required number of CPD points they kind of vary based on the field that you're in, but more specifically with medicine. So it's 30 general CPD points that you meant to acquire within like a 2-year period, and there's also around 6 ethics points which are also meant to be acquired within a 2-year period. So it's not only HPCSA that requires us to have these CPD points. There's also medical insurance companies that make it a standard thing to request and require the healthcare professionals that have signed up for these insurance companies to be able to have like a baseline number of points that they meant to also attain. So these insurance companies also hold doctors accountable when it comes to the number and them keeping up to date and them attaining these CPD points. And they vary with these health insurance companies, MPS, PPS, because I feel like it also reduces the risk that if you're a doctor who's up to date when it comes to your CPD points, you're less likely to engage in unethical things and unlikely to be a risk. So I think for them they also use that as like a guide and a way to prevent or to even lower the risk of them having to cover you for something that's bad. So if you have enough CPD points, you're less likely to not have enough knowledge when it comes to a certain topic, or not have enough knowledge when it comes to what's up to date and what's changing and what's topical with regard to the ethics. So basically the pros of having to do and keep up with CPD points is that that your knowledge is more up to date. They also sort of some companies consider and look at whether it's your CPD status before employing you. So it's also something that's of benefit to have it, because some companies, especially if you go into corporate medicine, etc., do sort of do that background CPD point check before hiring you. So it's something that can, be advantageous if you're up to date with, those things. Let's talk about how you actually obtain the CPD points. That's the crux of the matter. How do you attain these CPD points? So basically, number one, these are courses, right? Courses like BLS, first aid courses, ACLS, PALS. A lot of these courses, actually, that's the unfortunate thing, is that you actually pay for them. So these courses sort of range from somewhere between like 1.5 to like 5K. Like, they're super expensive. And the annoying thing about these courses is that they expire. So anyways, you sort of kind of have to go do them again, maybe after every 3 years. So I think, yeah, so you can do those courses and they do automatically count. The nice thing that they've implemented when it comes to record keeping of these points, the nice thing about HPCSA is that now they sort of work with these companies and they sort of like almost like automatically take your points up. Like, the companies automatically send your points after you've completed these courses straight up to HPCSA, and they literally they go into your records essentially. So I think that's the nice thing about that. You don't have to worry about it like having to go upload your certificates like how you used to back in the day. These courses, 8 points are vary based on like the intensity. I don't know what scoring system they have, but both BLS and ACLS will have I think 10 points. I don't know, guys, I don't remember, but they do offer these points. But most of these courses have general like points. Auntie, I did say that you need 30 general over a space of 2 years and 6 ethical. So the ethical ones are the very hard ones to like crack and get a hold of, which is, annoying. So yeah, unfortunately, they're very hard to get a hold of. But I'll tell you guys where I've been able to find some of these ethical points. So still on general, the other things you can do are, if you actually do a diploma or write primaries, those are nice big points that, big general points that, sort of like that give you a sprint. I think it's like diplomas are like 30 to 60 points together in a primary. So those ones are the points that sort of like automatically, put you ahead. But like I said, they also don't have quite a lot of ethics. So it's mainly like the general points. So the other places where you can find these CPD points, which is a place that I found useful, is with a foundation for professional development. They have a bunch of courses, but I feel like whenever you're choosing your courses, you have to be strategic, right? That you have to sort of like kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can't pick random courses. So you have to pick courses that are also going to be beneficial in sort of like your path, and you finding your path through whichever field you're hoping to specialize in, or whichever field you're hoping to get into. Because there's no point in, doing PALS. Like, for me, I was like, why am I doing PALS? Like, I'm not trying to work with babies. I'm not trying to be a pediatrician. I'm not trying to be an ER doctor. Like, you can't just randomly pick these courses, because they're also like a waste of money. So you also have to make sure that the courses that you sort of pick are the ones that are sort of along the way of you, sort of within the path that you're trying to take within your medical career. Yeah? And this applies to whether you're a dentist, you're a physio. Like, I feel like they should be very specific when it comes. You have to be very strategic when it comes to that. Now, they sort of like, I feel like you can get lucky there and get courses that do or have ethical things, in that sometimes they'll say most of these courses most of the time are free. They like, you have to just sign up, because sometimes they have these courses and then they'll say the first 50 people to sign up get a sponsorship by WHO, blah, 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 blah. So that's how I sort of like would also always gain these like nice ethics points, is that I like check my emails when it comes to that. Like, I sign up and I like check my emails, and then they'll email you to say, okay, there's a discount on this course. It's sort of like 1,000, it's 500, or it's like free, or you can just sign up for it and say for sponsorship. Then if there's someone who can sponsor you to do that course, then you're able to like do it for like free. So FPD has these different courses, and like I said, you pick based on which field you're trying to get into. So if you're trying to get into infectious diseases, COVID related things, there are courses like that, and say COVID, management in the workplace. They have random things like HIV is means with, like you'll see what field that you're interested in, and then pick that particular course that's gonna sort of like be in line with what you're doing. So they do have sometimes collaborations. So they had this whole ethical series where they're touching each and every aspect when it comes to ethics, like social media and ethics, and you had to like listen to like a 30-minute video and write an exam, not an exam, like a test, maybe a 10 mark or 20 mark test after each section. And that thing can literally take you 2 days, guys. Like I feel like you can like 10-30-minute videos, really. For me, that was the one, and it was free, and so that one was the one for me, and I think it was sponsored or something. So you have to also be on the lookout for those sort of courses. I think that one had like 20 something ethics points, and it's hard to get ethics points. Even ACLS has like 2 or 3, I don't know how many ethics points. So it's very hard to get a course that has ethical points. The other thing that people do when it comes to this is that they sign up with these companies that assist people gain CPD points. I think these companies, if you go on Google and just press how to get CPD points, these companies will sort of like show up. So they sort of like will either put together like material that will gain you CPD points. Sometimes just having to read a particular article will gain you CPD points. So those companies sort of like narrate and put together these things for you, and sort of give you a subscription. Plambati, you can pay like 400 rand. I don't know how much. Pay a certain fee every month, and then they just make sure that you don't go out like having to hunt for like places to find CPD points yourself, and that you can sort of like just go into their website and find stuff you want to do. So the other thing a place where you can find these things are like journals or these magazines that are released by these companies, these societies, Dr. Society, like Osama. I know they do have these magazines that they give out I don't know if it's every month or what, but I remember, like, if you are a member of some of these unions and companies, they do give out these magazines with the certain articles that you have to read, and somehow those things will give you like low points. Pace yourself. But my 2 points, but my 5 points. Like I said, things that give you a lot of points are things that will have like an exam at the end. Things that where they'll be like things that sort of take up time and hours. So those are the things that sort of will give you the most number of points. You'll have like emails sent out for the different webinars that you can listen to. They'll have a talk by like a psychiatrist or a specialist, blah blah blah, and general clubs and all of these things that you can sort of listen to and watch for CPD points. So that's also another place where you can find and get CPD points from, especially if you're already a member. Another one is like medical practice consulting. They also have free courses. Sometimes they have like courses that you pay for. I think in that Dire Wolf one was also via this MPC. So MPC is also another website, another like company that also does the same thing and sells courses. And then another one for the Department of Health of South Africa, where I also got like a certificate for HIV. So it's basically called Knowledge Hub. I'll also link it down below. So that one, you also sign up for it. And the nice thing about Yona is that most of the time, most of the courses you don't have to pay for. Most of the courses are like free. And they also offer these different, one is webinars and all of these things where you can listen in on a lecture given by a specialist in that particular field. And after doing that, they're able to sort of like, they're able to follow your things via HPCSA. If I'm forgetting anything, or you guys know of any place, you can just comment down below, so that we let other people know. So what happens if you are not compliant? I think that's what some people and a lot of people want to know. Like, and of course, HPCSA does these random audits and these random checks when it comes to CPD points. I know people who just like randomly receive an email. Like, I'm sure they just close their eyes and are like, and you don't want it to be you who ends up with, that particular, you don't want to end up being that person who gets audited. I know some people can get through majority of their career having, skipped and prevented being audited, especially if they continue staying in government. They can literally, go throughout their lifetimes without being audited. But one day is one day, you can get audited and you will get into trouble. Once they notice, you are being audited, they sort of like suspend you from the register up until you submit proof that you are being compliant. So let's say they forgot to send through that you did a diploma in this particular thing, HPCSA, and you did it, and then you can at least upload it and say, yes, I have done it. I just, it hasn't been captured. So maybe that's the reason. Then they sort of like remove the suspension thereafter. But if you are unable to still provide proof, they can also sort of like change your status from being an independent practitioner or medical officer, and they move you towards the status of being supervised as if you're like an intern. So in that case, you can't really make decisions on your own, blah, blah, blah. You can't practice if you're a GP because you don't have your independent medical practitioner certificate. So those are the things that can happen if you fail to submit proof, and then they sort of like change your status up until you're able to submit proof and maybe quickly go do the course and submit proof that yes, I am CPD compliant. Then they sort of like, okay, forgive you. The other thing that can happen is that they can block you from renewing or registering. We have an annual registration that we pay, and then every year that's when you get your sort of like medical practitioner certificate and all of that. So that allows you to practice. So essentially they sort of block you from renewing your license, and that can also affect whether or not you practice. You can get into trouble. Like literally, guys, just do the damn thing. So who is required to be doing these CPD points? So as an intern, don't stress yourself. It's none of your business. Like, do not stress yourself about attaining CPD points. It's none of your business. Like, enjoy internship, enjoy supervision, enjoy internship. That's not a prerequisite or something that you have to do during your internship years. So the people who are meant to start worrying about CPD points is from the level of ComServe, right? So that's why a lot of people, or it's not advised for you to do a lot of these courses before you are a ComServe, because a lot of those courses sort of don't count, and the CPD points are not recognized. For example, if you do ACLS during internship, it's not going to count. But it's also tricky because the place we are in as doctors in South Africa at this point in time is that slowly medicine is sort of like becoming a very competitive field, whereas I feel like it wasn't before. Sasingena nje guys, singa apply, you ufakwe nje sasihlohlwa, whether you know how to speak in an interview, whether you don't. Like before, it used to be a good career to be in. It was like minimal to like zero competition. Now I feel like a lot of the interns are feeling the competition, feeling the pressure, and are having to do all these courses to increase their chances of getting ComServe, because now even in ComServe competition when it comes to that, even though like I said, like it's not wise in that your points don't really count. That's why a lot of people will wait and do these courses when they already like ComServe, right? Because at least then you have your MP number. Even as ComServe, it's not like they forced you to have the points. It's only, I think, after you have finished your ComServe where it's necessary. But at least with being a ComServe, you already have your MP number. So even the points that you accumulate during ComServe, you're able to log, and they're able to account they're able to account for and register. So the ones that you attain during your ComServe years count, but the ones that you attain during your internship do not count. How do I get my points onto HPCSA? Luckily, like I already mentioned, there's no need for you to log or load your points onto HPCSA. It's sort of like changed into an automated process. The companies that are giving you these courses are the ones that are responsible for sending your information through to be logged onto your profile by the Health Professions Council of South Africa. So Tina, we are saying now, guys, before you had to load and upload your stuff on there, but now you don't really have to do it. You don't have to do it unless you do CPD points, like I already mentioned, with like an international like association and all of that, and they will write maybe 2 CPD points there for a webinar that you listen to. In that case, there's no communication with our council. So if they give you a certificate, that's the only time where you can upload it onto the HPCSA website under your profile, and then points again they will see, because they sort of like process to see, is this true, is this real, do these points count, and then they sort of like log them after. Just maybe go check, because sometimes these companies are delayed and sometimes they forget and all of these things. So for me, I'd say maybe wait like a month. If you see that after a month they haven't uploaded, then you can take your certificate and just upload it onto your profile under the Health Professions Council or HPCSA website. How you actually upload it, because I know some people don't know how to navigate that website, and sometimes it feels like it's two websites where you're like, but I've logged in, but now I'm on another side. Then I don't, guys, that website is just, it's next level like trickiness. So basically what you do, you go to HPCSA, you go to Google and say hpcsa.co.za, and then go on to the website. You'll see one of those drop down menus and you go on to online services. It'll take you to a point where you have to log in. And then after logging in, I know sometimes you forget our things and you forgot password, blah, blah, blah. Then you go to your email to reset your password. Make sure you write it down, like save it on your notes or something. Yeah. So after logging in, then you go on to account overview. And then after clicking account overview, then you go to my CPDs. And then after clicking my CPDs, you are able to either say add new CPD or inquire. So other people who are also exempt from CPD points are registrars, guys. It's not only, so people are exempt. It's interns, it's registrars, and it's comserves. So those people are exempt from having to do CPD points because technically they're in a training program. So in a training program, we are funda anyways, like even internship, even though you are still getting paid and all of that, it's still like a training program. You are still being taught, even ComServe, up until you're like independent. But in J, because those are still like training programs, and obviously when you are a registrar, you are presenting journals, case presentations, editorials, the trauma seminars and all of that. Because you are doing all of those things, it's not necessary for you to actually submit your CPD points or do all those things, because I mean you're already partaking in all of that. You are listening to other people's seminars. So when you are a registrar and you are attending any of these presentations, they pass around paper with the register of that particular presentation that you are attending, and their secretaries are the ones who get those points, about 2 points and all of that. The CPDs, those are the things, attending seminars and case presentation, they are the ones who take care of that whole administrative work, and you will get like an email to say yes, a CPD was logged and all of that. But as a registrar, it's not a prerequisite, it's my sister, so it's nothing to stress about. Yeah, I think I touch almost everything, and I think it's also another thing to highlight, like I already said, be strategic. Not a random work. We are not just signing the class register. You have to be strategic in the things you decide to spend on. If you don't know where you are going as of yet, like how I was, like you're still uncertain, make sure you pick something where most things will fit into. So other than that, that is the end of the video. Thanks for tuning in. Any comments, any questions when it comes to the video, make sure you link them down below. If I missed anything or you thought of something that I probably didn't touch on, make sure or you want to correct me on something, you are more than welcome. Like also do probably like comment it down below. I'll be dropping another video soon about facts about the registrar program, also a bit on how to get into the labs. Give me time, guys.
Like, let it be like Christmas. Whenever I come, whenever I appear, I just be ready.
Make sure your notifications or your notification bells are on. Make sure you like the video, and yeah, I will catch you on my next video. Thank you so much for tuning in.